With a massive galaxy to explore, different playstyles, spaceship battles, and gunplay, Starfield has a lot going on. However, you might be wondering about more specific gameplay details and things that we can actually get up to and do in-game ourselves, with things like player housing, how recruiting crew members works, going to jail, and other crazy things that you might be able to get up to while actually playing. Well, we are in luck because recently there was a big Q&A session in the official Bethesda Game Studio Discord, and we got to learn a bunch of new gameplay details that are being confirmed by the developers themselves. William Shen, the lead quest designer, and Emil Pagliarulo, the design director, were the ones answering these questions, so it's basically coming straight from influential roles within the development team. Several things were asked and answered, however there's definitely highlights to go through that we think will interest you most. First up is a personal favourite feature of mine in many games from Skyrim to Zelda. It's got to be player housing. With Starfield being such a massive game with over 1,000 planets, the idea of owning a home seems pretty small in comparison. And with Starfield having a lot of immersion and customization, it would make sense for them to have it. Well, a bunch of users asked the question, can we buy houses or property in main cities? And we got confirmation that not only can we buy houses, but we can even get them as rewards for some specific quests. Will said, yep, there's housing in different cities that the players can get. Some you will have to purchase and some are rewards for specific quests. Emil says you sure can. You can purchase a dwelling in all of the major cities within the game, and there's at least one that you can get specifically for completing ... something. So we definitely know that we'll be able to buy and obtain houses through quests, and hopefully they actually have some functionality beyond just being a place to sleep or visit. But there's still some juicy things to know. If you've ever played on the RP servers of something like Arma before, then you may be used to smuggling illegal in-game items to make a ton of money. Well, Starfield has its own black market and illegal items, but it hasn't been expanded on how you actually smuggle these around. Well, user Damon asks, how will smuggling cargo systems work? Can we hide it somewhere on the ship and sell it for more currency later? Will says certain items are considered contraband, and you'll need to smuggle them past security ships that are in orbit of major settlements. However, Emil clarifies a bit more deeply, saying there are specific items that are considered contraband, meaning they're pretty much illegal everywhere, and yes, you can hide them using special ship modules that you can purchase. So, don't get caught with those harvested organs. The economy is fixed, but prices of bought and sold goods can change based on the skills you choose. So if you want to live out your best smuggler Han Solo life in Starfield, it looks like you can do that and it might be quite lucrative. And talking about smuggling, what happens if you get caught? Well, another bunch of users asked if there's a jail system. Will says, yes, you can elect to go to jail or pay a fine when you're arrested, or even resist arrest and try to escape. While Emil says, yep, the settled systems is more like Skyrim than Fallout 4's Commonwealth in that regard. There's civilization, government, and there are laws. And in some cases, we actually explore the themes of crime and punishment in our futuristic universe. So you can end up going to jail if you can't pay the fine or resist arrest and try to escape. But another nice thing to know is if the world is persistent and living while you're not playing. For example, will your outpost continue to harvest resources and conduct research while you're away and not playing the game with it open? Emil says, the sim only runs when you're actively playing, so no sleeping on the job. But with games like Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty also on the horizon, a bunch more users asked, can you be a double agent in the game? For example, if you join the United Colonies, can you also join the Crimson Fleet and give the United Colonies information? And what factions have what features if they do? Will says, all of the playable factions can be completed independently. The Crimson Fleet storyline does feature you becoming an undercover agent inside the fleet on behalf of UC SysDef, a specific military branch of the United Colonies. But whether you betray the fleet or SysDef is a choice you will have to make. Emil says this is exactly what you can do. Infiltrate the Crimson Fleet for UC SysDef, it's specific to that questline. In the studio, I have been half-jokingly accused of referencing movies that some folks have never seen because I'm old. So with this particular plotline, the inspiration was very much the movie Donnie Brasco, which is the true story of an FBI agent that infiltrates the mafia. Just how far will you go? Honestly, that movie is fantastic and you should definitely check it out. Without spoiling anything, it's all about how deep you can go when you're undercover, and then if you will still follow through with betraying those people. But talking about NPCs, what about NPC companions that can follow you around similar to Skyrim? Well, Crimson Fleet Lieutenant Apollo asked how many companions total will we be able to recruit. Bull says there are over 20 named characters who can join your crew. 4 of them are from Constellation and have the most story and interaction with the player, but all of the named characters have their own backgrounds and can follow you around and even carry your stuff. Emil says, when we first began Starfield pre-production, we looked back at our previous games and realized just how popular and effective the companions were. So they were a big priority for us, and we really wanted to tie them directly into the main quest. There are some really big moments with them specifically, and I should mention that our companion voice cast is amazing. We haven't released the list yet, but you can be sure there's lots of talented actors bringing those characters to life. The same for Constellation in general. Well, on the topic of companions and crew members, a user did ask how paying them will work. And essentially, while they did consider giving them a regular salary, they ultimately ended up going with a single flat payment up front, and then they'll be part of our crew. Another interesting question though was about the history of the mechs within the game. Emil says, all the mechs, good one. We showed this a bit in one of our recent animated shorts. The mechs are leftovers from the colony wars. Both sides, the United Colonies and Freestar Collective, had mechs, but the Freestar Collective really mastered them. The United Colonies had mechs too, but they also relied on the controlled alien beasts from their Xeno Warfare division. Both of these were outlawed with the armistice that ended the colony war. I'm not saying there's an old Mech Battleground in the game, I'm typing it. The mechs though, they're not usable, no, they're in ruins. Honestly, this old Mech Battleground sounds like an absolutely amazing thing to explore in-game, and hopefully there's some juicy loot around there too. It's a shame that we can't pilot or use the mechs though. Maybe there will be some quests around them, but that would be absolutely awesome. Well, if you want to check out a bunch of gameplay for Starfield, we have you hooked up here. I'm going to leave a bunch of different sections of gameplay that's already been revealed for you to check out. So from ship battling to gunplay, you can see how the game actually plays.
And you get that feeling of unlimited possibilities. But this time, it's not just one world. It's over 1,000 worlds. Because the choice of where to go, it's not ours, it's yours. And it wasn't until now that we had the technology to create it. From the rocks at your feet, to the mountains in the distance, to the people and creatures that live in these worlds. That isn't just a backdrop. That moon is actually there orbiting the planet. Yes, you can visit it too. We realistically simulate the galaxy around you. Our next-generation lighting model uses real-time global illumination to light the world based on the type of star and the makeup of the planet's atmosphere. We also have an all-new animation system. And of course, you can play it in third person, and you can play it in first person. We love exploration and rewarding it, but you do explore differently in this game given its scale. That usually involves exploring an area you've landed in. You can collect resources, do a mission, and maybe even stumble upon something unexpected. We do love stuff and all of the items allowing you to pick everything up, and you can view all that in your data menu. This is the hub for everything you're doing, from your skills to your ship, your missions, and your inventory. We love to pack a ton of detail in every object, from all of your weapons, to spacesuits, to food. We just obsess over the details, and food. We obsess over food. When you're done exploring, you can walk back or fast travel to your ship. We have companions and crew you can take with you. I left Vasco here back at my ship.
Welcome back, Captain. Captain Howard.
And he can even say your name. Let's head out.
Outposts can be built almost anywhere on any planet. And the habitat modules come in all shapes and sizes, filling all different purposes. You can even live in them. Assign crew and companions to work at your outposts for added bonuses and set up extractors to harvest resources while you're away.
What's realistic, what's sim, and what's Hollywood? And I think we sort of err on the side of like, what's fun for the player?
With Starfield, we've completely overhauled our combat. It's more dynamic, the animations are more fluid. It just feels great.
We probably have more mods and more weapons in this game than I want to say any other game we've done before. There's a lot of variety.